All right. Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone is doing well. I wanted to call the Peabody Public School Committee public hearing to order to review the 2021 budget. We have a full group today. Our Superintendent, Dr. Mark Kerbel, Assistant Superintendent Chris Lord, our Personnel Director, Steve Farrell, our Business Manager, Joe Scanlon, Special Education Director, Carla Chioda, and all of our school committee members. Apologize if I miss anybody, but we wanted to review the fiscal year 21 budget. We as a school committee voted to approve a couple of days earlier, and today is our public hearing. Dr. Kerbel, and we also have Dr. Josh Vidal, our incoming superintendent as well. Dr. Kerbel, I'll turn it over to you. I don't know if you want to make the presentation or if Mr. Scanlon will be, but I wanted to turn it over to you and we can begin the hearing. And after the hearing, after the presentation is made, we'll be opening up with the assistance of Dr. Lord to anybody that would like to speak, any resident, parent, anybody that would like to speak on the budget. We would afford that opportunity following the presentation. So Dr. Kerbel, I'll turn it over to you.
Great, thank you, thanks. I want to thank the school committee for allowing me to present the school budget to the citizens. And so my conversation, everything is geared towards the public. Some of the slides you have seen, some a little bit different. I want to thank Joe for working with me the last 2 days to make sure that he and I are on the same page. As always, want to thank Dr. Vidal for his work, and same with Chris and Carla and Steve. We keep working at it and working at it to make sure we got things right. And so we'll do our best tonight. The way this will go is I'll make the presentation, and then if people have specific questions about the budget, Joe's here. Certainly other members of central office can help me out if I missed anything, which they will. All right, next slide, Chris. Chris, will you put up the PowerPoint for me, please? So, thank you. Thanks, Chris. I just want to let the public know, you know, I care deeply about Peabody because I grew up here and I taught here for a long time, especially at the Kiley School in Higgins. Okay, and being a special ed teacher, to me, it was always about trying to get my kids to be ready socially and emotionally, okay, and academically. Right? So I always had my eye on achievement. All right, next slide. And so as we build this, you know, and this is including Dr. Vidal, who understands what Peabody is like, because he lived here for 10 years, but also working in Revere, he understands about the kind of work that we have to do. And so I appreciate the way he looks at the budget and deeply too. But you can take a look at the people in central office who've been working together, and we've really been working as a team, and I appreciate everybody's effort. Next, one of the things that we can't forget, and so I think I'm gonna do is close my window here in case this is showing up. Here we go. I'm gonna move this. I put the mission statement and the vision. We tend to just glance over it, and it's really important to be able to say, what is it that we're trying to do in schools? So when we try to, you know, cut the budget or cut corners or trying to make things, trying to move things here and there, and always looking a way to preserve the integrity of our program, is because we're trying to hit our mission statement, especially the vision, which is the next slide. Next slide, Chris. And so, you know, the vision is trying to help students reach their potential, okay? But also we value them to promote integrity, courage, and I love this, in the acceptance of differences. Okay, so we have a lot of work to do. Next slide. And so this is a budget presentation. We were thinking about this. I just want to go back briefly to talk about before COVID-19. And we talked about the school committee meeting. We were really looking at a budget well into the $80 million range. And we were very excited about getting the Student Opportunity Act. But that's, you know, things have changed. So after COVID-19, and we're looking at the kind of revenue that the state is dealing with and the city's dealing with, which was expressed quite well by the mayor in the meetings and at the city council meeting. We've been focusing on 3 targets: level service budget, level funded budget, and then a budget without custodians. Okay, but we're making our way to a level funded budget. But I want to explain a little bit about each. So let's go next slide. Now, level service budget really is the same budget in FY20 rolled into FY21 with adjustments to salary, contract, and any other thing that we need, that we are required to do. So given that, we are looking at an $81 million budget. Okay, but that has changed. So let's go to the next slide. And we have talked about, and the mayor requested, that we come with a level funded budget. So that is the same budget in FY20, and that's going to be used in FY21. Right, but I want everybody to know we still have to account for salary and contract adjustments. Okay, and that budget is 77.3 million. But for us, let's go back one, Chris. Okay, we knew that we would have to move the custodians to the city side. You're on the right one. Next one, Chris. Yeah, next slide. Yeah, right there. Thank you. And so, given that the level funded budget is 77.3 million, if we move the custodians to the city side, we're dealing with a budget, and what we're presenting is a budget at 74.8 million. A little bit beyond that, but it's 74.8 rounded. Okay, so that's our target. Let's go to the next slide, Chris. So the level funded budget is 74.8, and I want the citizens to remember that year to year, we usually add about a 4 to 5% increase onto a level services budget. So being at 81 million and coming down 4 million, there's a lot to deal with. So next slide. So the adjustments we had to make to meet the target budget, and we did this over and over, still doing it. We did it today. Check and recheck the accuracy of our salaries, accuracy of our full-time equivalents, making sure that the right people are in the right place. Everybody worked on this. We did utilize savings from retirement. So that helped us quite a bit. And I'm going to show you at the very end of, how many people retired, but that helped us. Those savings helped us make other adjustments. And those adjustments we had to make on enrollment. So we know that certain schools, enrollment went down, other schools went up, so we had to offset one another. We did take some programs and consolidated them, still working on reorganizing some positions. Moved a lot of people to grants, a lot of paraprofessionals. Okay, and then once we finalized that, then Steve worked with the unions to address transfer, because people move based on seniority and their certification. And we did have an impact of layoffs. Some people were called back, some people not. Okay, and we're trying to minimize the impact on people. So I'm talking about positions. If I talk about cuts, I'm not talking about people so much. Okay, next slide, Chris. So I know that I'm getting used to people having questions. Some of the questions that were asked at the school committee the other night were the same questions that all of us in the team asked each other, which is, how many people were actually moved to grants? Okay, which Unit A positions were added and deleted? How many positions were actually deleted from the budget by unit? And how many people retired? So folks, I just want to let you know, we're dealing with between 700 and 800 people, an $80 million budget, and thousands of line items. And we just try to get it right. Okay, let's go, next one. So how many people moved to grants? All of our kindergarten paraprofessionals were moved. to the elementary and secondary emergency relief, the ESSER grant. They helped out quite a bit. Without that, we'd be in tough shape. We moved 13 paraprofessionals to the 240 grant and 2 paraprofessionals to 262 grant. So almost what do we have? Almost 40 people were moved to grants. Next slide. So which Unit A positions were added and deleted? And I'm going to go over this quickly. Okay, it's just to take a look at, I mentioned about certain grades we cut down from say 3 to 2, and other grades we went from 3 to 4. We eliminated some special ed teachers. Okay, at the West, suspension teachers, part-time school adjustment counselors, and other people were affected. And approximately 10 teaching positions were deleted, not necessarily the teachers. However, we had to add certain positions, English, for example, at the high school, and art. And so I want to say thank you to Dr. Grist, working with Dr. Lord on the scheduling, and I know that they were jam-packed. Okay, so some of these additions were needed. We added a criminal justice system to our vocational program. That helped, same with IT. And so we had 2 business teachers that retired. So we did some moving around, reorganizing. So that was a wash. We took people they were on contractual services and grants, moving them over into the general fund. And so basically the net loss of all these positions is really 2.6 positions, not necessarily people. All right, next slide. How many positions were deleted from the budget by unit? Okay, so we had 2.6 positions, Unit A, 2 administrative positions, Unit B, and 20 paraprofessional positions in Unit C. And I just want to say, we don't want to lose any positions, but I think from where we started, we were afraid that number was going to really be escalated. Okay, but I think I explained it to you before about how we used FY19 grant money to help fund the FY20 grants services, and then use that money to roll over to FY21, pay some tuitions to help us free up money to take care of some positions that we transferred to the grants. All right, next. So we had 16 people retired that commit to retirement, 2 paraprofessionals. And I want to wish those folks well. I think I talked to most of them. A lot of people call me about making the decision, and we had an early retirement incentive. I think that helped some people to make the decision. So I want to thank the mayor for that, because that really helped us. All right, next slide. I think we're getting to the end. Yeah, the school committee during this week approved the budget number, which was $74,854,358. And the school committee plans to work and make adjustments to the budget over the summer. And I think it was set for weeks to come, months to come, depending upon what happens at the state level and the federal level. So certainly changes would have to be made. And what I like about Dr. Vidala being involved past 6-7 weeks, okay, so he can hit the ground running next week, especially around the area of the budget. And I think that's just next slide, I think, Chris. And I think everybody's familiar with this, every student, every day. And so I took a look at Kara Mertag's budget goals from last year. Okay, and I know what she wanted to accomplish. And she would have been very excited about where we were going in the early part of March. Okay, and I know that she would help make us think about all of our students as we're talking about the budget today and tonight. Okay, that's it. Any questions for the rest of the team? This goes out to the public. And Joe's available to talk any part of the budget if you want any particulars. Carl is here, Steve, Josh, and Chris. Okay, thank you.
Great, thank you, Dr. Kerbel. Before we go to the public, were there any questions from the committee members or any clarifications or any concerns that wanted to be raised by the school committee members, I wanted to afford that opportunity. Okay. Why don't we go now to Dr. Lord? I think we have one or two people that would like to speak. Dr. Lord.
Two people are here. One has raised their hand. Karen Mayo is the first. I'm going to bring Karen in at this time. Karen, I hope you can hear me online. Welcome, Karen. You're now part of the program. See if I can unmute you, and you're ready to go. Karen, let's hear from you.
Okay, my name's Karen Mayo. I live at 61 Harrison Ave, Peabody. A citizen, and also I work for the school department and have worked there for 20 years. My concern with this budget, and please don't get it wrong, I know you guys have worked extremely hard to come up with it, but I don't feel the public has really been given an opportunity to speak or even see the budget. I know the presentations were done. I did watch them. Very difficult to try and look at each slide and figure it out as you're going on to the next one. It's a little different, I know from in the past. So that's one of my concerns, is really no input from the public. And with only two of us being here tonight, that's a good indication. The other thing is, and I know this is a work in progress, I know that if we get more money, you try to add positions. I hope we don't get a decrease, because then that could be a disaster. But in the future, will the school committee allow parents or anyone to speak on possibly adding in back positions? Because I know during public participation, we can speak, you can't answer us. So, I mean, that's my concerns, and I understand everything that has happened. And believe me, it's been a disaster, we all know. And I understand why it's being done this way. But that is my concern. Will we be able to have a say once things hopefully settle down?
Thank you, Karen. As always, appreciate your input. And yeah, this certainly, I think your comments are very real and right on point. I mean, this has been a very trying process in trying to get the information as out there as best we can, because it has been changing every day. So I anticipate that there'll be changes made, a number of changes made in the weeks and months ahead as we get closer to the school opening and we get further information. You know, there's a lot of variables still to come in terms of what our state aid is going to be. And I'm trying to be very positive and optimistic that the 15% state aid number, the decrease that we put into this budget, that the state aid actually comes in better than that. And then that would afford us some opportunities to add to the budget and make some changes as we go along. There is possibility, certainly if we get a second wave of the coronavirus, or if our state aid numbers are worse than projected, or if the economy isn't bouncing back strong, that we could be in a position where we do have to make further cuts, which would be terrible. And certainly it's not something that any of us school committee members, myself, anybody wants to do. So, but we're going to have to just see how things unfold here, and it is going to be a work in progress. And you know, I think we will have meetings probably in the next few weeks throughout the course of the summer. Usually we take some time off during the summer. I don't think that's going to happen this year, and we're going to have some future meetings. And then, yeah, these will be discussed at those meetings. This is not a final budget by any means, and it is going to be a work in progress. So, yeah, please stay tuned. We want your input. You've always been great about reaching out to us, as well as other union members and teachers and things. We're going to need that as we go forward. And I'm hoping that we can just improve from here and add, but there is the very real possibility, again, depending on those unknown factors, where we could be in a real difficult position and have to really make some difficult decisions. So too early to say, but this will be a work in progress, certainly.
No, I understand that. No, every budget is a work in progress. We all start out in the beginning and things change over time. Just to let you know, praying we go back to school in September, August 31st, actually. I do miss it. And I'll tell you, online learning, it's extremely different. The social aspect is missing, and that is definitely needed. So, I mean, that's a hard part there, just for the students. But I'm glad to see you're all there, healthy. Have a good summer. Welcome, Dr. Vidala. You'll be seeing me at school committee meetings. So hopefully we all stay that way. And I hope we do get back to the meetings eventually, because I do miss you guys, believe it or not.
Well, thanks, Karen. We miss you too. And I'm glad you're doing well as well. And yeah, we'll be staying in touch on this, and we'll be advertising future meetings pretty soon, I think, because I think we all recognize there's a number of positions that right now are not in the budget that we're hoping over time we'll be able to put back in the budget. A lot of critical, important positions that matter to our students, that matter to our teachers and administrators. So we're hoping that we can just go forward in a positive way from here. And but we'll be in touch and having additional meetings during the course of the summer as we get further information from the state.
Okay, well, I look forward to seeing everybody.
Thank
Have
you,
a good
Karen.
night.
Dr. Lord, anybody else who'd like to speak?
Yes, Tammy Burnett is here. I'm going to release Karen back to the attendees line. And now I'll bring Tammy Burnett in. Tammy.
Welcome, Tammy.
Hi, thank you. Thank you, Dr. Lord. My name is Tammy Burnett. I'm one of the 3 attendance paraprofessionals that was cut from the budget at PVMHS. Most part-time para jobs are being saved by transferring the salary into a grant. Our position is not included in that plan. First, I'd like to say I don't feel like our position is any more important than any other, but I do feel it is a misunderstood position, and that's why I wanted to speak tonight. The attendance pilot policy drew a lot of attention this past year. The accuracy of students' attendance determined whether they received full or partial credit for a class, or daily attendance affected their ability to participate in sports, activities, or school events. The amount of work increased tremendously for us due to students needing more documentation for an absence, supporting faculty with ASPEN entries, and tracking daily results. We are always available for parents or students who need our assistance to look up their records or clarify the policy. Our school has over 200 attendance-related events daily, in addition to the administrative duties we provide. I have not heard any plan on how this work will be redistributed to ensure that attendance stays a priority. We provide updates to students about our policy and provide support to students who need it. We work with the team, with our deans, our truancy officer, and guidance to make sure students have the ability and means to get to school on time for a full day of learning. Through attendance records, we have brought issues to our administrators, helping them realize student obstacles such as homelessness, family illness, lack of transportation, and personal issues. We take pride in being part of a team that shows families we care about their students. Without knowing the reentry plan in September, I believe if we return to in person, whether it's part-time or full-time, the role of attendance becomes quite important. Students or families may become ill or concerned about being in school if another classmate or faculty member becomes ill. As an attendance paraprofessional, it's our job to ensure all student records are accurate and continued attendance issues are brought to the attention of administration. Although the health and financial aspect of this coming year is unpredictable, having a strong, experienced team will prove to be more valuable than ever. I'm excited to learn about the increase of students entering PVMHS this September. I know we're able to provide the support our students that they each deserve and not let COVID interfere with the quality of education you have all worked so hard to offer. I've always been an advocate for our public school system, and I want nothing but the best for our students and our faculty. I appreciate your time and listening, and thank you for all that you do for our school community. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Tammy. That was extremely well said. And I do think that your position, maybe named as attendance para, is misunderstood in many ways because knowing you and the two other administrative professionals that work for the schools, that their job goes much deeper than just, checking off an attendance box. And that, and I think you explained things very well. Dr. Vidala, I'm hoping that this is one, I think all of us on the school committee and myself think that this is, there's an important role being played by our attendance paraprofessionals. So I know that's one we're all going to be hoping that we can work during the course of the summer to have as part of things moving forward. And I think Tammy explained things very well as to the importance of that job and what they offer. So Tammy, give us a little bit more time on this. I guess maybe that's the best way for us to say it. I knowing you've been an unbelievable asset to the city and a tremendous advocate for our school system. So, we want that to continue. So let's give us a little bit more time on this. And I think, we're going to spend a lot of time on trying to make things a little bit better so that we can be ready to roll in September. So give us a little more time, please.
Absolutely. I appreciate it. And I'm always available if anyone needs more information or more detail of what we do. I'm happy to contribute.
Great. Thank you, Tammy.
Thank you. Thank you all very much.
Dr. Lord, anybody else that has signed up to speak?
Yeah, someone who's just named themselves Anita, just Anita.
All right, please bring her in.
Anita, go ahead, you're on.
Hello and good evening. Let me just jump into this, I guess, head first. I spoke with Carla earlier today. I found out during the school committee budget meeting that the Milestones program is being moved from the West back to the Brown. My daughter is going into the 5th grade there, and we're completely heartbroken. And we understand why it's being moved due to the coronavirus and budget cut. I think it's crucial that the program stays at the West. This is her last year there. This program has only been at the West for the past 2 years, and it's not fair to my daughter or the other children in this program to be moved in such uncertain times. These children have dealt with enough, and I think it's not good for their social and emotional being. It's really not. And it's, in all honesty, it's like they're being discriminated against. I mean, that's not where the budget cut should be for children who are already at a disadvantage and struggling. Their feelings, their lives matter as well. To uproot them. Like I stated earlier to Carla, it's not, if these children are moved, to a new school with unfamiliar teachers, and if we're back homeschooling by, October, beginning of November, it's not enough time for these children to get to know the teachers, for these teachers to understand the learning, the way that these children learn. It's disheartening. It really is. I understand budgets needs to be cut. I asked Carla, throughout the library, she stated that's not part of, the school funding, that's the city funding. I just think it's wrong that, we're going after programs. I mean, this program's only been there for 2 years. Help me out, people, please. I don't want, she's going into 5th grade. Okay, my daughter's been at the West School since kindergarten. She's only been in the Milestones program for 2 years now, since it's been over at the West. Okay, it's happened. I found out through the school committee meeting that this program was being cut. I mean, it's gonna tear my daughter apart. It really and truly is. We're residents in the West Peabody area. What can be done?
Well, thank you, Anita. Thank you, Anita. And I don't think a decision can be made today, certainly, but I think, being able to speak to all of us, our new superintendent and the team, putting your thoughts, which were very well said, I think that'll help us have some discussions on this. It's been very difficult these last few months, and we've had to make some tough decisions, but I think your input or your words here have helped us, and I think this is just something we're going to have to take up. Dr. Vidala and his team are going to help us see what we can do on this. Thank you for bringing it to light.
I appreciate it. I left him a message as well. I left your office a message.
You left me a message this afternoon. Yep.
I did. I'm at and Carla was very nice. I've spoken to her assistant. It was nice that she reached back out to me. I apologize, Carla, if you did not like all of what I had to say, but I'm fighting for my daughter and I'm not going to stop. Okay. She's my one and only. So she's my everything. I want the best, like you all want the best for your children. And it's like I said, yes, we've been at the West, but it's not fair for those other children. These kids aren't ping pong balls. They can't just be bounced around because of a budget. They really can't. Their teachers have put in so much dedication through this whole, she had Lauren Poley, who every week would deliver a packet to our house for Angela to work with. I mean, these teachers go above and beyond. They care about their students. They really do. I just truly hope, I know that this decision hasn't been finalized, and I hope somewhere in the budget we can do something and leave the Milestones program at the West. I really do, and I thank you for your time, and I'll stop calling everybody and leaving messages for at least a few days.
Well, thank you, Anita, and your daughter's very lucky to have you. So let's let us work on this a little bit, and we'll be reaching out to you shortly. But thank you for your time tonight.
Thank you very much. Have a great evening.
You too. Dr. Lord, anybody else that would like to speak?
I'm not sure the protocol for this. Karen Mayo's hand is still up. I don't know if that indicates that she wants to come back or not. Is it? Oh, it's down. Never mind. That's all set. Okay. Everybody is done.
All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Like to bring this meeting to an end. We are presenting to the City Council shortly. Actually, like to jump in maybe in about 10 minutes to the City Council meeting. So entertain a motion to adjourn. Heard the motion to adjourn. Thank you. Heard the motion by Mr. Amico, seconded by Mrs. Dunn. All in favor? That's a vote. So we'll break now, and in 10 minutes, we'll go to the City Council meeting. Thank you, everyone, for your time and efforts.